Prepare for warp speed as we embark on a voyage through the vast expanse of science fiction in movies and television series. From distant planets to alien civilizations, we delve into the heart of the unknown, unraveling the tales that have captivated audiences for generations. Get ready to unlock the secrets of the universe on Code Flix.
Hello and welcome to Code Flix, the podcast where we take a deep dive into your favorite sci-fi and fantasy TV shows and movies. I'm Andre Bonner, and in today's episode, we'll start looking at From, the series that started in 2022. So I was scrolling through social media when I came up on a clip that absolutely pulled me in. I was instantly hooked and immediately started binging like an addict. I realized that there was a upcoming season later on in this year. It's so amazing. From, stylized as From in capitals, all caps, is a American science fiction horror television series created by John Griffith. The first season premiered on February 20th, 2022 on Epix. In April 2022, the series was renewed for a second season, which premiered on April 23rd, 2023. On the rebrand of MGM Plus, in June 2023, the series was renewed for a third season, set to premiere in 2024. When I was just a little boy, I asked my father, what will I be? Will I be handsome? Will I be rich? Here's what he said to me. Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera, what will be, will be. In a nightmarish town in Middle America that traps those who enter unwillingly, residents strive to stay alive and search for a way out, plagued by terrifying nocturnal creatures from the surrounding forests and secrets hidden in the town. Here are some key themes and symbols in From. Themes: entrapment and escape. A central theme of the series is the feeling of being trapped and the desperate desire to escape. The town functions as an inescapable prison, and the characters' efforts to break free drive more of the plot. This theme explores both physical and psychological entrapment, highlighting the limits of human endurance and ingenuity. Survival and community. The show delves into the theme of survival in a hostile and mysterious environment. The residents of the town must band together to survive the nightly threats posed by the creatures. This theme underscores the importance of community, cooperation, and the social dynamics that emerge under extreme stress. Fear and unknown. From leverages the fear of the unknown as a primary source of terror and horror. The origins of the town and its creatures are shrouded in mystery, creating a constant sense of dread and uncertainty. The series explores how fear affects human behavior and relationships. Fate and despair. Characters in the series often grapple with fear and despair, trying to find meaning and hope in their dire circumstances. This theme explores the spectrum of human belief and resilience, from those who hold on to hope to those who succumb to despair. Time and memory. The series also touches on the themes of time and memory, as the town seems to exist outside of normal temporal rules. Characters struggle with their past, and the distorted perception of time in the town adds to the psychological horror. Symbols. The town. The town itself is a symbol of entrapment and perjury. It represents a place where characters are forced to confront their deepest fears and regrets. The town's eerie, isolated nature enhances the feeling of being cut off from the world. The creatures. The nocturnal creatures symbolize the primal fears lurking in the dark. They embody the unknown and the inexplicable horrors that threaten the character's existence. Their appearances forces the inhabitants to take extreme measures for protection and survival. The forests. The forest surrounding the town serves as a symbol of mystery and danger. It represents the boundary between known and unknown and the futile attempts to escape the town. The forest is both a physical and psychological barrier for the characters. Talismans and rituals. Various talismans and rituals used by the townspeople to protect themselves from the creatures symbolize humanity's attempt to impose order and control over the supernatural. These objects and practices highlight the blend of superstition and survival instincts. The lighthouse. The lighthouse, if present, might symbolize guidance and hope, a beacon in the darkness. It could represent the search for answers and a way out of the entrapment, contrasting with the oppressive atmosphere of the town. Photographs and personal items. Items such as photographs and personal belongings of the trapped individuals symbolize their connection to their past lives and the outside world. These objects often evoke emotions and memories, grounding the characters in their humanity amidst the horror. From is a very gripping series that blends horror and mystery and psychological drama to explore deep themes of entrapment, survival, fear, and human resilience. Its symbols such as the tone, the creatures, and the personal items, it's enhanced the narrative by adding layers of meaning and emotional depth. The show invites viewers to engage with its enigmatic world and the complex interplay of hope and despair faced by its characters. Here's a character analysis of the main characters from the TV series. Boyd Stevens. Boyd is the town's sheriff and a central figure in maintaining order amidst the chaos. His leadership is defined by his strong moral compass and resilience. Though he carries the heavy burden of his past decisions, his estrangement from his son, Ellis, adds a personal layer to his character, showcasing his internal conflict between his duties and family. Ellis Stevens. Boyd's son, Ellis, lives in the colony house. Estranged from his father due to past conflicts, his relationship with Fatima and his choice to live communally rather than with his father reflects his rebellious nature and desire for independence. Ellis's journey is marked by his struggle to reconcile with Boyd and find his place within the community. Christy Miller. As the town's doctor, Christy plays a vital role in providing medical care and emotional support. Background as a former paramedic and separation from her fiancé when trapped in the town adds depth to her character, illustrating her resilience and adaptability. Jim and Tabitha Matthews. The Matthews family, consisting of Jim, Tabitha, and their children, Julie and Ethan, represents the viewer's entry point into the mysterious town. Jim's logical and analytical approach contrasts with Tabitha's emotional and intuitive nature. Their differing perspective on how to deal with their entrapment and highlights their individual strengths and vulnerabilities. Julie and Ethan Matthews. Julie, the teenage daughter, chooses to live in the colony house, seeking autonomy and connection with others her age. Development is shared by her relationship with Ellis and Fatima. Ethan, the younger brother, often exhibits a sense of wonder and innocence, contrasting with the harsh realities of their situation. Sarah Myers. Sarah's character is complex, driven by her hallucinations that command her to commit violent acts. The inner turmoil and the external consequences of her actions make her a pivotal and unpredictable element in the storyline. Donna. As the leader of the colony house, Donna exudes a strong and authoritative presence. Her no-nonsense approach and protective nature over her residents define her as a formidable and caring leader. Fatima Hassan. Fatima is Ellis's girlfriend and a key resident of the colony house. Character brings warmth and compassion, often acting as a mediator and voice of reason within the communal living space. These characters, with their intricate backstories and evolving relationships, drive the narrative of From, blending personal dramas with the overarching mystery of the town they are trapped in. Here's a detailed overview of the series From. Production. Creator and showrunner. Created by John Griffith, who also served as the showrunner and executive producer. Executive producers include Jack Bender, who directed several episodes, and Jeff Pinkner. Cast. Harold Perrineau as Boyd Stevens, the town sheriff and de facto leader. Catalina Sando Marino as Tabitha Matthews, a new arrival to the town. Ian Bailey as Jim Matthews, Tabitha's husband. David Alplay as Jade, a tech entrepreneur. Elizabeth Saunders as Donna, another resident of the town. Ricky He as Kenny, the sheriff's deputy. Avery Conrad as Sarah, a resident with mysterious connections to the town's secrets. Filming locations. The series was filmed primarily in Nova Scotia, Canada, utilizing the region's diverse landscapes to create the eerie and isolated town setting. Design. Visual effects and cinematography. The series employs visual effects to create the mysterious and supernatural elements of the story, such as the creatures that haunt the town at night. Cinematography by Dave Green and others emphasize a dark, atmospheric visual style using natural lighting and shadow to enhance the suspense and horror elements. Set design. The town itself is designed to look like a quintessential small American town with an unsettling twist. The buildings and environments are realistic but carry a sense of decay and abandonment. Key locations include the sheriff's office, various homes of the residents, and the forests surrounding the town, which is central to the series' mysteries. Costume design. Costume design by Jill Onison reflects the practical and varied lifestyles of the town's inhabitants. Characters wear everyday clothing that fits their backgrounds and roles within the town. Sound design and music. The sound design is crucial in building the show's tense and eerie atmosphere, with unsettling noises and silence playing significant roles. The musical score by Chris Tilton combines orchestral and electronic elements to heighten the sense of dread and mystery. From received generally positive reviews from critics and audiences who praise its intriguing premise, atmospheric storytelling, and strong performances, particularly from Harold Perrineau. The series has been noted for its effective blending of horror and mystery, drawing comparisons to other mystery-driven shows like Lost, also featuring Harold Perrineau, and The Twilight Zone. From contributes to horror and science fiction genres by offering a fresh take on the trap town trope, combining elements of supernatural horror with character-driven drama. Its emphasis on mystery and slow burn storytelling appeals to the fans of complex, layered narratives. The series' success has demonstrated the ongoing interest in genre-bending television that challenges and engages viewers with both suspense and depth. Here is an episode by episode analysis of the series. Season 1, Long Day's Journey into Night. Episode 1. The Mattis family traveling cross-country finds themselves trapped in a seemingly inescapable town. Meanwhile, the townspeople prepare for nightfall and the terrifying creatures that come with it. In this episode, we see that the introduction of the town's eerie nature, the appearance of nocturnal creatures, and the establishment of the main characters. And through this, we are able to meet the Mattis family and other key residents like Sheriff Boyd Stevens and Tabitha Matthews. The characters' fear and confusion set the tone of the series. You really get into it. You get to see the town from the Matthews perspective because it is through them that we enter the town. The way things are now, episode 2. The Matthews family tries to understand the town's rules and the dangers they face. Sheriff Boyd Stevens explains the town's history and survival strategies. So as I said before, the Mattis family is what gives us the introspection into the town. And as we learn together about the creatures and the rules for survival, such as staying inside at night and keeping the windows and doors locked, we get to understand more about this town that we're introduced to. And this helps us to further explore the main characters, some of their backstories and their relationship with each other. Sheriff Boyd emerges as a central figure in maintaining order. Sheriff Boyd is played by Harold Perrineau, and I'm saying this man, whenever him in or anything and him really get down to it, he is the man. And this is one of those times, Choosing Day. Episode 3. The town holds a choosing day where new arrivals select their homes and responsibilities. Meanwhile, tensions raise as some residents question the leadership and the roles. The ceremony of a choosing day, it increased a lot of tension among the residents, and we'll get to see the town's dynamic at a deeper level. We'll get to dive deep into it a little more. And the fact that the Matthews daughter, she said, with all we're going right now, me feel like say me don't want to stay with my family. I prefer to go shack up with some people who I have never met before, but these people seem cool, so I'll stay with them. So this highlights the different coping mechanisms of the residents and introduces conflicts among them. The Matthews family struggles to adapt to their new reality. Oh yes, especially when things that were happening now has become the life that you never choose, you never planned for. A rock and a far away. Episode 4. As the town deals with an internal crisis, Boyd and another resident venture into the forest seeking answers. This is where we get to see a different side of Boyd. We see that with all the things that has been happening, and yes, he has been able to hold his ground against certain things, there is still that much that you expect from someone who is leading like Boyd. And when they explore the forest and they find new threats, them discover that there are so many different things happening underneath everything. It just adds to the levels of things that are going on in the series. And perhaps we'll get to see more of that when later on in the year when the other season drops. But we can only guess at it right now. So as I said, Boyd's leadership is tested and alliances among residents begin to form and fracture. Silhouettes, Episode 5. The origin of the creature is partially revealed, and a new survivor arrives, bringing more questions than answers. So, this guy come in now, and this man never have nothing about him. Never have nothing about him. Encounters with the creatures and mysterious symbols found in the forest. The arrival of a new character adds complexity to the town's social structure. The newcomers' integration into the town, society, and their impact on existing relationship. This man who feels him entitled, he come to shake up things because at first he is not aware of what of it is full of, right? A lot of shit is full of. Book 74, residents discover a mysterious book that might hold clues to the nature of the town and its inhabitants. So an investigation into the book's origins and its potential connection to the town is the primary focus there, and some really crazy supernatural occurrences start increasingly happen, right? Intellectual and spiritual challenges faced by characters as they confront the unknown. Yeah. People are unaware of what is happening and why it's happening. And especially with the mad people them who feel say them dead here for just live their life certain way, and they have some people who don't give a rat's ass about anybody else. All good things. Episode 7. The town's fragile peace is shattered by a violent event, forcing residents to take drastic measures. Yeah. Now, can you imagine? Everybody knows the rules. You do not interact with the creatures outside. You do not let them in. Now this brother decides say him go let in the creatures. For what? What is he willing to risk everybody's life for? the impact of trauma on the characters and shifts in the power dynamics within the town. You know? Broken windows, open doors. A series of mysterious events hint at possible escape routes, while others face the consequences of broken rules. So, as I hinted on, that was what happened. We saw that at the end of that episode, what was leading up to that people never follow the rules and cause problems. The discovery of potential escape methods and the consequences of venturing out at night, further exploration of the town's supernatural events. Yeah. The characters' desperation and hope are highlighted, as well as the cost of breaking the town's strict rules. Yeah. He broke the rules, let one in, and that was it. That's all she wrote. She wrote. And she wrote indeed on his back. Gosh, all of these things are so graphic. Can't really talk about them that much. Into the Woods, Episode 9. Boyd and a group of residents undertake a dangerous mission into the woods to find a way out. The perilous journey through the forest, encounters with new creatures, and revelation of hidden truths about the town. Yeah? And, they have been hopping from tree to tree now, and the, stuff getting real, some crazy stuff happening. The bravery and sacrifices of the characters are showcased, as well as the strain of the mission and their relationships. Oh, the places we will go. Episode 10. The season finale brings high stakes as the residents face their greatest challenge yet, both from within and outside the town. So, they have set up a radar tower to try and see if they can signal outside of the town and possibly over the forest and all of that, so that they can get a signal out, get a man out there and thing. And what's on the other end? One of the creatures. That was creepy as heck. Climatic confrontations with the creatures, and a showdown over the town's leadership, and a cliffhanger ending suggesting more mysteries to unravel there. So you know what your boy had to do, right? He had to continue watching this series. The characters' resilience and determinations are tested, setting the stage for potential future developments. And quite a future indeed that is laid in front of them. So in season 2, episode 1, a bus arrives with passengers in from. So we have new characters coming into a situation that is already bursting at the seams, apparently. And based on what was happening in episode 10 of season 1, we realized that there are some things that are coming to light, especially with the fact that Tabitha was able to explore the tunnels and find a forest. And now Sheriff Boyd, on his journey, has found himself with a stranger, very ragged and emaciated man, as he's chained to a wall. And there are some things that he wants answers to, questions he has, and he won't be able to get that from the man because this man doesn't even want to live anymore. Episode 2. So Boyd, won't want to kill this man any at all. And instead of heeding the man's warning, he tries to free the man, right? In his attempt something weird happens where suddenly out of nowhere, a music box is found playing on its own on the ground. And we see the man, who we find out his name now is Martin. He is infested with some worm-like parasites that seem to be causing him great pain and stress. And, for some reason decides, say, I'm going to grab or scrape Sheriff Boyd with his fingers, and it apparently transfers these somehow worm-like parasites to him, and then he dies. And all of a sudden, without warning, Boyd finds himself in the middle of the forest again, right? Meanwhile, back at the party in the town, the people on the bus try to, integrate themselves into the town more. And one of them would have been someone who had intimate relationship with Christy, who we know as the medical person. The person was doing the medical stuff, and she seems to be the one now trying to understand what is going on in this town and why it is that she was there all this time, not knowing why she's there any at all. Tom would have been trapped under the collapse house because he had gone looking for Tabitha, and they're trying to seek out some way of resolving the situation as quickly as possible. So in episode 3, we find that the passengers on the bus, some of them who would have been interested in following the directives given by the persons in town, and some decide that they wanted to do their own thing. And one of them ended up in a situation where they were almost killed. And I guess the creatures, they have some kind of sense of humor because they wanted her suffering but not dead so that she could witness what was happening. All right. Yeah, I won't go into detail with that. No spoilers there. Also, what happened in this episode was that Tabitha sees the strange children. They seem to be very dirty and looking all hungry-like, similar to the emaciated man. And to me, that seemed like some kind of signaling of things to come at this point. Something weird is that Tabitha sees Ethan working on a sculpture puzzle, and it resembles the stone pile that she saw in the collapse tunnels. Yeah. So there is a whole heap of time going on there. Some Easter eggs possibly being dropped here. Episode 4, we see where Boyd is probably trying to figure out what is happening based on what is happening to him, as well as the fact that he always was aware of the fact that his Parkinson's disease could pose a challenge to him. And it was something that he would have discussed with Christy prior. And now he's basically, bringing it up basically about what his possible future holds for him. Jim finally comes clean about what he heard over the radio, because nobody heard except for him, that voice that was telling him about where his wife was, because he didn't know at the time where she was. Jim and Donna, they talked about it, and Donna apparently she's under pressure at this point, and we can see that because they have a big uproar with Randall and at the Connolly house, and she put him out on the bus basically, Tell him, say, listen, if you can't stick with the rules of this place, you're going to die because we're not sure what gonna happen to you once we put you on the bus. All right. That's basically what would have happened. On season 5, Randall spends his first night in the bus, and of course, it wasn't really nice. Ethan locks himself into his room after hearing his family talk about Sarah. Yeah, because, he's trying to figure out what is happening with her too, because, her sister, I wonder why it is that, she would be even doing the things that she's doing, and going through all of that. You're trying to figure out, where all of this is going. He eventually decides to see Sarah and talk to her, and that goes swimmingly, right? Sarah goes to the diner to get her and Nathan's things. She is confronted by Kenny. Basically, I said, boy, I'm not sure if you're even for there, with all that is going on now. Tabitha sees the children again and they start to chant something, and over. Very, 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 very weird. I mean, that scene alone is worth nightmare inducement. Yeah. Episode 6. So, Boyd talks to Tai Chen about Sarah's presence in the town because, basically at this point, everybody know what on, that Boyd seemed to be doing things that they didn't know about. And he was trying to figure out things as well. So he's not too sure why. But, more than anything else, he doesn't want to have to cause anybody else's death at this point, So what's very, very unique about this particular episode, though, is that he uses the parasites that he has and he passes it along to one of the monsters, right? And I mean, at that point, it just seemed like it was a suicide mission up until we realized the monster wouldn't attack him directly. And, when it did try to, it caused that. Yeah. And Kenny admits that he should have believed Boyd about his journey into the forest and, what was going on with him and the parasites and so on. But how would he know, right, at that point? Because Boyd was kind of keeping certain things secret and, it wasn't clear until he actually saw, in action what was happening. Episode 7, Belly of the Beast. So Jim and Tabitha discuss whether Ethan should spend time with Victor, who we know as the creepy guy, but he was one of the first residents there. He came there as a child and practically grew up. Well, not necessarily matured, but he grew up there. And, the relationship between him and Ethan is that they understand a little bit more about what is happening in a certain sense. And they, as young as both of them are in terms of intellect or understanding, they are able to perceive things that nobody else was able to. So, yeah. And because Victor doesn't want anything bad to happen to Ethan, he was trying to keep Ethan away from him. Jim tells Randall his theory about the place being an experiment because both of them they have been kind of talking, right, knocking head about what could be happening, but the both of them don't have much of a clue they're just trying to do it, be more investigative, which is not a bad thing. It's just that the way you go about it. Because if you're gonna go around and make accusations at people, everybody's gonna be wondering what you are really trying to do. Are you really trying to get to the truth? Or are you really trying to pin the blame on people? And then Christy discovers the monsters inside to be dry except for bile extract, right? So the monster that Sheriff Boyd had infected, he died, and they decided to conduct experiments to figure out what it is that these things are made up of, right? Yeah. Episode 8, Forest for the Trees. So as Jim and Randall continue working on their project, right, they try to use a drone to see how high they can go to get, a better look at the town or whatever it is that they were trying to do. Randall begins to stoke fears of conspiracy in the town, that the residents may be in on it, right? And yeah, he was very unhinged from the beginning. Even though Jim was trying to kind of be more scientific and investigative, Randall seemed to be more conspiratorial. And this is where it comes to a head there, where he's basically going around trying to point fingers at people. Boyd and Kenny visit the monster in the basement and see more insects. So some insects have been coming into the town, and people have been seeing them, wondering what they are. These are some new crazy stuff that has been happening in the town. So they see the drawing of the tower. That is, Boyd and Kenny hear cicadas, and Reggie, a resident of the town, runs out of his house screaming. Jim realizes that Randall has kidnapped and tied Donna to a tree in the forest to test his theories. Yeah, that's where it has gone, like real crazy stuff happening now. Alright, so episode 9. So Boyd and Kenny, they discover that Reggie's wife, Paula, has been killed by the cicadas in her sleep. So now everybody realizes why these things can kill you if you go sleep. Real Freddy Krueger kind of thing. So, everybody now decides, we don't want to sleep. We're going to try our best not to have anything like that happen and stuff. They hear them repeating a phrase: they touch, they break, they steal. No one here is free. And that's when she died, right? Yeah. Real crazy stuff. Reggie is taken to Colony House, where he informs residents they need to stay awake. Yeah. Boyd, Donna, Jim, and Randall spend the night in the RV. Creatures come out of the forest, but stop short as the music box starts to play over the radio. Yeah. So some really crazy stuff happening right there. Alright, so episode 10. A whole lot happens here. The three that has been in a coma up to this point are being held basically almost in the tower that Sheriff Boyd would have gone to. He and Sarah, they would have reached there, and when he gets in there, he sees the music box playing, and he decides to break it in order to, free the three, which works. Tabitha and Victor ended up going to the tree that transports her to the tower. And, when she got there, she heard the children's cries. And as she reached the top, she sees the boy in white, who looks at her, and he apologizes and explains that this is the only way and then he shoves Tabitha out a window. Can you imagine? Huh? However, Tabitha awakens at a hospital where a doctor tells her she was found on the trail 3 days earlier by hikers. And Stun doesn't even begin to describe how stunned I am at what has taken place, because, yeah, it's apparent that she's now in the real world, apparently, or she's back in Kansas. She's no longer in a dream world, or wherever the rest of them are. So, yeah, quite a cliffhanger ending. Don't even know what to make of it. But what I can say is that it has been a ride so far, and I hope that it continues. I know you're probably used to me diving deeper into some of these particular episodes, but because this is a active series and it has an upcoming season and a few episodes, I don't want to spoil it for you. So I'm leaving out the spoilers. I want you to go and watch. The series is, as I mentioned, amazing. And if I'm watching something like this, you must know, say, it's amazing, because I don't really like horror stuff. But I'll watch it for you guys, But I'm just saying, I'm not a fan of horror stuff, but this is none like the rest. It really, it was a real ride based on just the first season alone, and then getting into the second season and seeing some stuff happening, especially with the character that escapes, and it turns all of the conceptions you might have had at the beginning. You're saying to yourself, oh, this might be another dimension. This might be perhaps something like Dark City. If any of you know Dark City, that show basically had, some elements that hinted that things weren't the way or they seem, and you weren't even on Earth for that one. So we don't know. It wasn't. It was just weird that the way how this ended, it gave us a different insight. And we're not even sure if where that character escaped to is even somewhere safe. And that character had a family and friends in from. So how are they going to process that? So my expectation of season 3, right, would be for something like those to be resolved, right? Don't want to go too much into that. But yeah, from season 1 and season 2 have shown it has quite the reputation to uphold, and I hope that they don't bug out in the writing or the direction of this particular series. So here are some of my theories based on some questions that I have so far. And as I mentioned before, I'm trying to not spoil too much of this series because it is still in production. There is a new season coming out, and I don't want to preempt things too much, but at the same time, I gotta have to talk about some of these things, right? What or where is the town? So, from what we have been seeing in season 1 and season 2 of the town, it is apparent that this town is not normal in any stretch of the imagination. It might be some kind of, to me, a pocket universe, right? And I did mention Dark City, the movie. You can go check it out again. That movie showed where the possibility of having a entire town in a spaceship. So I'm thinking here to myself, I'm wondering if that is possible. Because the town, and when I say the town, I'm not just referring to the literal area where they settled and they had the buildings, but also the forests. Because to me, it's like a package deal. And there are certain elements, that the forest and the town carry that perhaps they are intertwined, they're linked. And I feel like if they really want to, and this is probably for the writers and how they plan to direct the show and have some of these plot lines tied up nicely. If they want to do it well, I think they would want to make sure that it doesn't disappoint and that it's not just something like the tone is on a toast or a pizza, right? So yeah, they're gonna have to find some way to make it make sense because based on the clues and the Easter eggs in the episodes, there isn't any rational conclusion to where or what this town is, much less the forest. So the next question is, why is everyone able to see the broken tree? And it's not just to say, oh, them not blind or whatever, but where could this broken tree be that every single person, no matter where they might be coming from, and them claims that them coming from all sorts of different directions in the United States, and yet still they end up meeting the tree first, and that tree basically is what makes them know that they are no longer in Kansas anymore, if you understand what I mean. So there must be some significance to why the tree is being seen by everyone who enters the town. There must be something to it, right? What are the creatures? Now, as I said, I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't watched. I want you to watch it, right? I want you to suffer through it is a bit of horror if you can, right? But those creatures are quite the thing. And that is what sets it apart for me in my head. It sets it apart from many other series or movies of this type of genre, kind of slasher horror genre, that they are presenting initially as human. I'll say that alone, and that is it. They present as human, but they are not. And that is the creepiest thing about it because it creeps up on you. Like with some horror, they do it well. They know how to keep you on your edge of your seat because after seeing it the first few times, you think that, you would be used to it. No, you're not. And it's like you have to be looking out of the corner of your eye, even though you watch the screen, you have to look out of the corner of your eye because you're like, are they even able to, because they just look like regular people. Yeah. I won't say anything else. As I said, I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Go and watch. Why only at night? Why do the creatures come out at night? And I could even tack on a question to this, which is, what separates the town from the forest, the rest of the place? Why is that town even standing in the middle of nowhere how it is? And this is me circling right back to the first question, because even now I'm still trying to process it as I talk about it. Because this doesn't make much sense, and this is the intrigue that I'm talking about. This is what makes it so interesting. Yeah, I don't have an answer for this one, honestly. don't have an answer for you. I can't really process why, because even with the explanation being provided that this kind of thing can be a nocturnal kind of thing, it just doesn't jive, as they say. Yeah. It's something I'm gonna be thinking about right now, even when I finish this. But yeah, those are my theories. Share your own theories on From, and if you can do it before the new season starts, then that would be good, because at least we can both be confused together, and hopefully put in a lot on that series, that season, that it will explain some of the things that we've been seeing so far. Yeah. So in this episode, we looked at the series From. As I said, it's an active series, so go and watch. If it has reached season 3 already, that means you missed the train, but you still have time, because you can enjoy a real crazy series. I looked at the premise, briefly discussed it, looked at some of the themes and symbols, looked at some of the characters. I tried not to spoil too much of the episodes, right? And offer some of my theories so far, because this might change when I get to see season 3. Or it may not change. It might just be another wait again, which would be cool, but at the same time not cool. Okay? Don't make people wait too long. You have to know how to let people. Yeah. So at this time, I'd like to encourage you to subscribe and follow the podcast for future deep dives in a world of science fiction. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the support. We're on a road to 500. Let's do it, guys. See you next time.